Welcome to the Big E Outdoor Radio Show with your hosts, Big E and Brandon of Big E TV. Found nationally on your favorite outdoor television channels. Big E Outdoor Radio challenges all the hot topics in the outdoors, from racing to hunting and even grilling in the backyard. Our mission is to educate on the facts of the impact of the outdoors on all our lives and encourage good stewardship and good fellowship among our ranks. Follow Big E Outdoors on Facebook at Big E Outdoors and Big E Outdoor Radio. Send us feedback and get in on conversations with us. Fasten your seatbelts, because this ain't your daddy's morning show. We'll be right back with Big E and Brandon in the morning on Big E Outdoor Radio. Big E Outdoors, located at Cedar Creek, is reopening its doors soon after its new remodeling. Home to the area's first and only big game hunting museum, with educational exhibits displaying animals from around the world and facts around the hunters' contributions to their survival. Pick up some unique souvenirs and gifts from the museum and from the Big E TV shows. Meet the pro staff from Big E TV and Big E Outdoor Radio. A great place to stop in with the whole family. And while you're there, book your next hunting trip with the Big E Outdoors professional hunters. With over 21 personal hunting destinations worldwide, you'll be sure to find a quality getaway with the Big E Outdoors destinations. Big E Outdoors is also home to Adrenaline Hydrographic. Check us out online at BigEOutfitters.com and register to win a free hunt. Big E Outdoors at Cedar Creek. Hey, welcome back to Big E Outdoor Radio, and we are at the top of a new hour. And Brandon, we were talking about the lions and tigers and stuff that are at these, what we call concentration camps or retirement ranches and things like that. And there's a lot of folks that don't know how that works. And let me explain it to you. What happens is, for instance, let's talk about Siegfried and Roy's tiger. There's one that's be easy, but this happens at zoos. It happens everywhere. When a tiger or a lion becomes a problem child, that once it tries to attack a human, once it bites one, once it does, it's going to do it again. So the laws are, and the way that things are, that tiger immediately has to be taken somewhere and locked up. Okay, you can't kill it because there's laws against that. They can't even euthanize it. So what happened is Siegfried and Roy's tiger was sent to a retirement home for big cats. And in these retirement homes for big cats, some of these guys are trying to make it a little nicer for them now, but a lot of them, there's a cage, and that cat is the only cat in the cage, and he gets put in there, and he spends the rest of his life pacing around, and they come in there and they feed him good, and they take care of him, but they're in a locked cell, pretty much. It's like they're in jail. Mm-hmm. And that's where they live the rest of their life, with somebody that agrees to take care of them until they die. That's it. They don't get anything. Now, if hunting tigers was legalized, these animals could go to a breeding ranch where somebody knew how to handle them and isn't going to go in there and stick its head in their mouth and wave fiery sticks around them and make them jump through hoops and do all that crazy stuff. So now the tigers would go there, and it could breed, and it could make more tigers for the hunting purposes, of course. But think of how many tigers could be raised with litters by people that knew what they were doing and were running breeding operations for tigers, rather than sending them to a retirement home and isolating them to die, if tiger hunting was legalized and allowed on places like they are in Africa. Mm-hmm. And then you want to know where the money's going to come from. The money will come from hunters. Just like we pay $25,000, $30,000, $50,000 to hunt a trophy lion, we would pay the same to hunt a tiger. And the money would come from hunters. It sure is not coming from anti-hunters.
No.
They're not paying $25,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for every lion that's produced to keep them alive. But we're paying that to hunt them. And every one that we hunt every time these lions are bred, we're also producing females. Because every litter that's born, it's not all males.
No.
So in order to breed these males, we're breeding females. Mm-hmm. We're breeding more lions. That's what they don't realize.
Yeah.
We're breeding males that we will hunt. That means we're also breeding males that we don't hunt, and we're breeding females. Mm-hmm. So this is how the animals, if they really want to help out, what would happen is our conservation efforts would come together with these breeding farms and say, hey, look, we like what you're doing. Let's work with you. You guys definitely are producing more animals than we ever could. Let's work with you on a percentage basis. Rather than charging you big fees for your operation, let's work with you on a percentage basis, and we need X amount of animals from you every year to put into the wild. Because, and that brings us back then to the CWD issue. They're sitting here complaining, the animals come. Hey, guess what? If it's a CWD certified herd, doesn't have it, there's no more chance of getting CWD from that herd than there is from already getting them from the wild. Already out there, if it's out there. All the deer have the capability of getting it. Either that, or it's a deer that's already immune to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the same, you either have it or you don't. You either can get cancer or you're not going to get cancer. You either have diabetes in your family or you don't. It's that way. It's the same thing with CWD. It's like Alzheimer's. It's like any diseases that run in the families. Either you're going to get it or you're not. You have the chance. All humans have the potential. All deer have the potential of getting CWD.
Yeah.
So these guys are wasting our tax dollars, spinning wheels, running around, making all this noise for nothing. And what we need to do as hunters and as taxpayers is we need to just put a stop to their ridiculousness and tell them quit it. If you're going to waste money on this anymore, we're gonna vote you out and get rid of your jobs and get you fired, because you're wasting our tax dollars on absolute stupidity when you could be out there worrying about how to bring back populations. And the population thing is simple. It's called work with the ranches and the people that are out there producing the animals. That's the way I look at it. Go out there and say, hey, look, you know what? You guys produce elk better than we can. We're hauling these things from where? From Kentucky and from Colorado. Let me tell you something. Those elk are nothing compared to what is being bred right here in Wisconsin. If they would go to all these Wisconsin ranches that are producing elk right now and say, hey, look, we're going to work with you instead of against you. We're going to lay off some of the fees and some of the rules. These guys would number one, raise more elk. And they just told them all you have to do is give us each one male and one female calf every year. Mm-hmm. Do you know how many elk would be running around the state of Wisconsin?
Yeah. The thing is a lot of people don't even realize this either. There is more elk in these ranches, in these farms in Wisconsin than there are in the wild herd of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And they're thriving better.
And they're bigger, and they got better bloodlines, and they would have mixed bloodlines because they would go to each one of these ranches and they'd be getting a male and a female every year, and these animals would not be inbred because they wouldn't all be a herd from the same genetics. And they could go to all these Wisconsin ranches and say, hey, look, this is what we're going to do. You can either pay your fees or you can give us one male and one female, not a calf, but after the calf was born the next year after it overwintered, so it's going to be good. We're going to come and we're going to pick up our one male and one female from you every year in spring.
Yeah.
And you load it up for us. And they come in with a trailer, they pick it up. That's the fee for breeding. And they go and they take these things up and they let them go. They release 30? If they did that every single spring, they'd probably be releasing 50.
Yeah.
Our elk herd in Wisconsin would be thriving. We'd already be hunting elk.
Yeah.
It's all the state has to do is say, duh, this is a quick way to get the herd going.
Yeah.
So, hunters, or anybody listening to this show, if you're on a conservation committee or anything like that, I mean, it's very simple. The politicians overthink this. They're so worried about CWD. They're so worried about all. Guess what? EHD's there. CWD is there. Tuberculosis is there. Those kind of diseases have been around in these animals since God created them. Mm-hmm. God created those diseases so that if he feels like some of them need to go, the weak go. The strong survive. You're going to get spots where CWD is going to come in. It's going to wipe them out. Blue tongue's going to come in. It's going to wipe out certain times. Guess what? You restock. You replenish. It happens.
Yeah.
And guess what? Every single time one of those things has happened, the herd has come back stronger. You know, you go back and look wherever blue tongue happened. Bam! When them animals came back, they came back with better horns, stronger, bigger animals,
Healthier.
Healthier.
Yeah.
So it's going to happen. Quit worrying about it. You know,
It's natural.
Yeah, you know, you want to keep your eye out. You know, you don't want to be going into some guy that's got CWD like crazy in his pen and taking his animals.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, go into the guys that you know are breeding and they're clean and everything like that. You know, test animals, and then say, hey, you know what? This is your fee. You owe us X amount of animals a year. Our Wisconsin deer herd would be better. Take them out. Take the ones with tags in their ears. Say, hey, guess what? We're going to take a certain amount of a deer from each one of you each year. And they have to be tagged. And then make it illegal to shoot a tagged deer.
Yeah.
So now when we're out there hunting, we see the tagged ones. We know, hey, well, that's one of the Wisconsin state breeders. Our whole deer herd would improve, our genetics in our deer herd. And then put an antler restriction on our hunting. Say, hey, you know what, the deer have to be X amount of points before you shoot it. And you'd see trophy hunting in Wisconsin, and the dollar amount would go sky high from people coming from out of state to try to hunt here. We would make money hand over fist in this state.
Yeah.
You know, they're looking for ways to make money. Heck, we could make more money for the Department of Natural Resources and for conservation just by improving our deer herd. Take all those deer, put them out there and say, look, you cannot shoot a tagged deer. You know, end of story. Now, some of them are going to get shot. Very simple. Look for holes in their ears.
Yeah.
You know, microchip them. Put a microchip in their head. Just run that over. You shoot one with a microchip in the head, guess what? We're taking it away.
Yeah.
You know, and those tags aren't going to fall out, guys. So, you know, so somebody says, oh, I didn't see the tags. There weren't any in its ears. BS. Shoot one with a tag in its ear, can't have it. It's illegal. End of story. That's a breeder. They have to be left alone. Put them great big dangly jewelry things in their ear. Ain't nobody going to miss that. Nobody.
No.
Let them, those run. So now that's your breeder. Put a certain amount of them out every single year in all these areas, and you're going to have big genetics, you know?
Yeah.
So they could, I mean, there's a lot of things that they could do if they started working with these ranches and build the herds up. Elk herds, the same thing. If they did that, within 5 years, we'd have hundreds of elk running in the state of Wisconsin. Just an idea. So put the pressure on. And we'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with some more Big E Outdoor Radio. Hey, welcome back to Big E Outdoor Radio. And Brandon, we have a special guest here in the studio with us, and it's very nice of you to join us here. You know, we got to be careful because he's, you know, kind of big, and folks, you don't realize, I mean, we get the craziest guests in here. And welcome you here all the way from South, well, actually, you're not from South Africa, you're from Zimbabwe, isn't that right?
No, that is right. I am from Zimbabwe.
And your name is Simon, you said?
Yes, I am Simon. I am from Zimbabwe, and I am from Hwange National Park.
And Simon is a African lion. Simon, you said that you're related somehow to the famous Cecil, the lion. Is that right?
Yes, I am. Cecil is my brother. He was a older brother of mine, and I must say we are glad that he is gone.
Huh. You're glad he's gone.
Oh, yes, we are glad he is gone. His legacy was starting to irritate me. He's, you know, everyone called me Cecil all the time.
He called you Cecil. How was that?
Yeah.
You know, well, I tell you, for a long time, Cecil was not, first of all, I don't know how the hell he named him Cecil anyway, but he is thought he was like King Mufasa or something, you know. I don't know if you saw the movie, but you know, Cecil. Yeah,
We saw the movie.
We're familiar with the movie. What's actually funny, we didn't know that you saw it.
Oh, we are all familiar with the movie. Yes, but so anyway, Cecil, he thought he was big king. You know, all the women loved him. They followed him around. He had beautiful mane. But one day, Cecil got old. Long time ago, we chased him out. And I took over.
You took over. So are you like? So if you've seen the movie, so you would be like.
What's the other lion's name?
Jafar. Yeah, Jafar.
No, was it Jafar? Was that his name? Yeah, was that no?
No, it was not like Jafar. I didn't.
Oh,
do it.
Scar, not
Scar.
Jafar.
Scar. Yeah.
I know. I was not. No, the Scar. I was not like this. No, but it was my time. Cecil was old. He couldn't. He needed the blue pill. You know, he couldn't get it up anymore. So he was not doing any favors. Oh, we'll run him out. And we let him hang around and have some scraps every now and then. But Cecil was a non-performer, you know. But what was very irritating to me is that Cecil.
Hey! Now calm down. No.
Okay,
calm down, Simon.
Hey, don't get so close to me with them teeth when you're irritated. Here, have another donut or something. You want some sausage? We got some sausage.
Yes, the sausage sounds very good. It's, what kind of sausage is this? I've never had the American elk before, but it's very good. I like it. Yeah. So anyway, this is what was one of the reasons we are glad Cecil is gone, because for so many years the tourists were coming to the Hwenge, and they come through and they throw marshmallows and bread and they feed us, and every time it's, oh, Cecil, let's take a picture of Cecil. I am not Cecil, damn it! I am Simon.
Well, Simon, it sounds like you really weren't very fond of your brother, and that's...
No, everybody thinks I'm Cecil all the time, and they take these pictures, and Cecil, but, you know, it's got quite agitating, and so now that they killed him, it's good now. They know I'm not Cecil anymore. But now they don't even have a name for me.
So really, Simon, you were... Sounds like you were just jealous.
Yeah, you sounds like, yeah. Maybe did you chase him off?
Well, I might have had something. Me and my hyena buddies might have had something to do with the fact that he was on the other side of the railroad tracks, and yeah, he was. But it was time for Cecil to go, and I can't believe it took so long for the hunters to get him. And such a easy setup too. Cecil was not very smart, you know. They would have got him much quicker if they would hunted with marshmallows and bread. But Cecil, anyway, he's gone, and we are happy. Yeah.
Simon, aren't you worried about, now that Cecil is gone, aren't you worried about, sort of a target on your head?
Yeah. What happens when you get old?
Gee, I had never thought about this. You know? I have some cousins that might be thinking about me taking me out next day. So I must worry about this now. I hate to.
Yeah, that's something, you know. But Simon, you know, it's a good thing that you joined us here today, because we were kind of wondering who the lion was that took over, and where all these beautiful pictures came from.
Well, yes, most of those handsome pictures are of me. Cecil has been old and rash looking for such a long time. But you notice I don't have a collar. No. They don't even know that I have escaped to America for this interview. But I shall get back, because my harem, I cannot leave them for very long. As women, they need me, they want me.
Well, didn't Cecil have a son? I mean, you saw the movie, didn't you? I mean,
well, what about his son?
His sons, they're wimps. They're not worried about them. So, as long as I stay on Hwenge, everything is good. Life is good, you know. I am king of Hwenge. I give the women there the Hwenge dengue, and there don't nobody messes with those Simon. Yeah, the king of the Hwenge dengue. Yeah.
So you're kind of the stud there around the clubs and stuff on Hwenge. Then is that it?
Oh yes. I put on a good show for the tourists, and I get the marshmallows and the bread and whatever else. I wish they throw chicken, but they don't do that so much, you know.
Huh.
Sometimes I have my girls, they go out and chase me down an antelope pala, and, you know, and we have some fresh meat. But I have a very good life. I am, like I said, king of the Hawenge. Yeah.
Well, Cecil, you know, we want to tell you thanks for stopping in. And Brandon, you got any more questions for Simon back there?
No, actually, no, I don't have any questions for Simon. Actually, I just kind of wish that, Simon, it might be best that you head on your way before you get a little bit angry and we become your next lunch.
Yes. I'll tell you what, take the rest of that sausage stick with you there. It might be a good snack for you on the way.
Well, I will do that then. Thank you very much, and I will come back. Thank you very much. Okay. Well,
that was certainly interesting.
That was interesting. Simon just left, and that's.
I just realized that I'm surprised I didn't tick him off even more. I called him Jafar. Wasn't that the bad guy on Aladdin?
Yeah, that was. But I don't think he really watches all the Disney movies. But it's interesting that he even knew about those movies. But you know, it's what's the Hawangi Dangy that he was talking about?
That was one proud lion.
He's kind of cool looking. He was incognito. Did you see he was wearing a camo jacket and sunglasses and everything?
And what was that? Yeah, and he had a hat on. The hat says "I love America." It kind of got lost in the mane up there, but I seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, that didn't scream tourist.
Yeah, he looked like a tourist. But, so if you see him around, you might see him at one of the airports trying to head back to South Africa. But there you have it. So actually, Cecil wasn't running the herd or the pride for quite a while. People have been feeding his brother, Simon, and thinking it was Cecil all this time.
Yeah.
Oh, there you have it. It's right straight from the lion's mouth.
Yeah.
Be danged, you know. It's the funniest things in that we get the darndest visitors in here, you know. It's always a pleasure to have these callers and these visitors, you know. I can't wait to get back over to South Africa and do some hunting myself, you know.
Oh, man, that's...
Just hope I don't run into Simon over there.
Yeah, Simon, he sounds like he's got a little bit of a temper on him, too. He got worked up pretty quick there.
Yeah, but I think he'll stay on the park, and we won't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Well,
will he stay on the park? I mean, he came over here.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like he wanders too far when he's over there. You think he knows what side of the tracks to stay on. But, yeah, so this just goes to show you, you know, one lion looks like another. You know?
Oh, good Lord. Yeah.
So I'm glad he's out of here anyway. It cost us an end of elk venison.
Yeah.
Sausage there, but whatever.
It was better than your arm.
Yeah.
He certainly wouldn't have been mine.
No. Big fella he was. Big teeth. I'll tell you what, that gives you one reason, folks. You need to be heading on down to the Cedar Creek Mall and check out the window here where our radio show goes on and where we're doing the recording during the week, because you might catch one of these special guests that we have. And,
or you might catch Big E talking to himself or something like that. I mean, the more we do these radio shows, the more I really start to worry about your sanity. Oh, man.
Hey, you know, they just never know who could be in our studio.
Yeah, never know. You never know.
It could be some movie star. It could be a country western singer. Or it could be some lion from South Africa.
Yeah. It could be Nick from Nick's Build-A-Buck down there.
Build-A-Buck, yeah. So, all right. Well, I guess we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll wrap up the show. So hang on, and we'll be right back with some more Biggie Outdoor Radio. This segment of Biggie Outdoors is brought to you by Snap Fitness of Wausau. It's time to get in shape, and Snap Fitness is the right place to do it. With 2 locations in Weston and Wausau, you're never far from a Snap Fitness. Open 24/7 for members with clean and well-maintained equipment. Check out their new location across from Fleet Farm on Wausau's north side with all new machines and equipment. Sign up for some classes or training. Pick up the supplements you need and take advantage of the monthly deals and sign-up specials they have going on now. The staff at Snap Fitness is waiting for you to assist you in any way they can. So head on down to Snap Fitness today and get signed up. Welcome back to Big E Outdoor Radio. And Brandon, we're talking here. We just in the break we were talking a little bit more about the CWD issue, and in Wisconsin Outdoor News a couple weeks ago, there was an article in there that you'd read about what was it?
Well, it's about CWD and what the deer herd would look like in 2071.
You know, here again, they're doing speculating, and these guys are doing projections and stuff on stuff that they're wasting their time and money on.
Mm-hmm.
And what were they saying about, how many deer they're finding down in southern Wisconsin that have?
They're saying that of the deer that they tested in at least one area that they're doing the testing, 4 out of every 10 bucks tested positive for CWD. Those bucks didn't die from it; they were carrying it. And we don't know,
See, now the thing that people don't realize when they say this, they put the big scare in people and they say they tested positive. But here's the deal, folks. A buck testing positive means that after the buck was harvested, some hunter harvested the buck, they tested him, and they found that he carries the prion that makes it possible for him to have CWD.
Yeah, that didn't necessarily mean he had it.
That's right. It doesn't mean that he was dying of it. It doesn't mean he had the disease. He had the prion.
Yeah.
That buck could have been perfectly healthy. Yeah. He never could have come down with the disease. He never even could have died of that disease.
Yeah. And altogether, all the ones that they tested, apparently they tested like 5,400 some animals, and 6% of them, I think it was like 331 of them or something like that, tested positive. And you got to remember, these deer didn't die from that. They were harvested by hunters, and then they were tested.
So then what happens is they put the scare in the hunter so the hunter doesn't eat the meat.
Oh, yeah. So the animal goes to waste.
And really, the deer, nobody's ever caught CWD, so we don't even have any proof that eating the meat is even bad for you. And that is just, it's getting to be so ridiculous. What's happening is they're getting better with their testing.
Yeah.
And they're coming up with it. Now, here's the other thing. This is what really gets me. They have a deal in the state of Wisconsin when these farmers, first of all, when they pull these tests, the farmer's vet keeps a sample with him and a way to DNA test this test back to his farm. Okay? But every time they say that they say, okay, Farmer Brown, your deer tested positive for CWD. These farmers will go and say, hey, look, I want to see the sample. I want you to DNA test it back to my animal, and I want it tested. I want a second opinion. They deny them that.
Yeah.
They won't let them. They won't even give them the DNA test to make sure that it came from his farm. This is the state. This is what the state's up to with this deal.
Yeah.
So this is how come everybody's saying, hey, look, you're picking and choosing. They're picking the farmers and saying, oh, we decided that we want you to have CWD because we want to put you out of business.
Yeah.
And their CWD testing is sketchy at best. And there have been several cases in states or in areas where they have allowed these guys, lawyers and stuff have gotten together, and they have allowed them to subpoena the tests and DNA test them back, and they second tested them and found out that they did not have CWD.
Yeah. That
it was a false test. It was a false reading. So here in our area, they're saying, oh yeah, 4 out of 10 bucks tested positive for carrying it. You know what? I don't even believe it, because half the testing that they're doing isn't even right. It's not even working out. And we're finding that on a lot of these farms. So they're out there preaching that all this stuff is happening and these farms are coming down with CWD, but yet they won't come back and prove that the DNA from the animal that had the CWD actually came from that farm.
Yeah. What's wrong with proving it? Why can't you prove it?
They won't come back, and they won't bring the DNA back, and they won't say, yep, this is where it came from. Let's double check the DNA, let's prove it, and let's get a second opinion. They won't do it. So that's one of the things already that I find is very funny about it.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is that, they aren't telling people the whole truth about the fact that just because an animal's carrying the gene doesn't mean that it actually has it. It's like saying, hey, you carry the possibility of having hepatitis or having whatever, I mean, so what? There's people running around with stuff and they're perfectly healthy, It's very, yeah, it's a bad disease, but they're overplaying all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they play around with the tests and they're not even sure what they're testing for. So, like I said, they should just be going to these ranches, letting some deer go and improving our herd and saying to heck with it,
Yeah.
I just find this whole CWD thing to be the biggest scam that's ever been put on by a government agency.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I look at. So, and they're wasting money on something that they can't do anything about anyway. Yeah. What are they going to do about it? They keep saying, well, it's because we're not doing anything. We got to do something about it. What are you going to do about it? Colorado has had CWD in their area for how many years?
Yeah.
They gave up on it.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do. Hunters go out there, they hunt, they test their animal, then they find out it has CWD. They can make the decision on what they want to do with the meat.
Yeah.
That's been going on for 30 to 50 years before we even heard of CWD up here.
Mm-hmm.
And people are still hunting there.
If the animal looks sick, don't eat it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
your
simple.
It's your call. I mean, it's a judgment call on your end. You're the hunter. You're the guy that's going to eat it, so it's up to you. But this whole ridiculousness that goes on with these government agencies and stuff, it's like they're wasting money on stuff that other states have already given up on because you're not going to gain any ground on it.
Yeah.
So why waste our tax dollars on it constantly?
Yeah.
I'm just sick and tired of hearing about it.
Yeah.
And like I said, Colorado, they also have high fence operations and they have people raising animals and they've just given up on this thing. It's like, hey, look, let's regulate things, let's do things right, make sure we keep our facilities clean. And you know what? Just going to have to regulate it.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. I mean, what are you going to do? The animals in the wild have it. That's where it started. It didn't start on deer ranches. It started in the wild, And it's like now in Michigan. Where'd Michigan find it first? They found it in wild does near the cities.
Yeah.
That doe didn't come from no ranch, folks.
No.
All these places where they're finding it, they find it first in the wild. And so, I guess we as hunters could say, hey, you know what? It's not coming from the ranches. It's coming from the wild. So maybe we should be thinking about putting the blame on the government instead.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I think they're looking for a place to point the finger is what they're looking for.
Yeah. Well, the government isn't all too cooperative about showing the proof and letting them trace the genetics back to, whether it came from that farm or not, and that right there should be a red flag because if they're trying to hide stuff and do this sleight of hand stuff and whatever the heck you want to call it.
The other thing that gets me is all this stuff that went on in Canada, whether it, you don't know whether it actually works or not. The way that they say that they can breed this out, they can do the testing and figure out the ones that are immune to it and the ones that aren't. Mm-hmm. And then they dispose of the ones that aren't and they breed only the ones that are, and the offspring from those that are will always be immune. Well, you know what? If there's any possibility that that's true, we should be exploring that instead of covering it up.
Yeah.
And the same thing with that medicine that they say is, able to be put out there that will make them be immune to it and then can be passed on. Okay, if there's even talk about this stuff, it should be being tested, it should be being explored, it should be open to the public, it should be being talked about, but they're not even talking about it down here. And the reason is because they'd rather cry and try to get money from the federal government into their, funding and then play their own agenda, which is to close down high fence ranches because, well, geez, when people come in high fence ranch, they don't need a license.
Yeah.
Well, if that's what the state's worried about, then make them get a license for gosh sake. How much would it, would it stop the people that are coming to the high fence places if they had to pay the same out of state license fee? No, it wouldn't. They'd pay it.
Yeah.
So if the state wants the money, make the people get a license.
Yeah.
If that's what you want, and knock it off. Quit picking on an industry that's bringing in millions of dollars, and probably doing a better job of hunting than what you're capable of doing.
Yeah, exactly.
These guys are managing their animals way better than the state ever could. So if you want money for licenses, if that's what you're after, then charge them for a license.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's crazy too, because it seems like we find ourselves talking about this CWD thing quite a bit, and really, I mean, you could go on for days talking about it and talking about how, you know, all the different agendas that the government might have and with it, and you know, it's just
What do we got going on
I
here?
don't know, yeah, malfunction, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, sorry about that. But yeah, that's you know, it just goes to show you. I mean, there's so many different angles you can go on this this CWD talk, and you could go on for days talking about it, and it almost gets old. But at the same time, people need to know about it, and they need to realize it's probably not as big of a deal as what everybody's making it out to be.
Yep.
But well, with that, folks, we're going to take a quick break.
Hey, we're back again here, Biggie Outdoor Radio. Brandon and I, we're in our portable studio.
Yeah.
It's our portable hunting blind, our portable studio.
Yeah, we got drove out of the studio there at the at our office there at the Cedar Creek Mall. They're making a lot of noise, doing a lot of construction, and you may or may not even be able to hear it from outside of our truck here. You can hear they're driving equipment around, and they're pounding on stuff and hollering and doing what construction workers do. But I'll tell you what, in the end, this is going to be one heck of a deal.
It's going to be a beautiful place. It's already
Beautiful.
taken on a new look. The green roof is just about gone. They're working on the pick and save corner right now, and that should be the last of the green that's visible to anybody from the front. And they're putting on that brown stucco front, and I tell you what, this place is really starting to look good, and there's some new businesses coming in here.
Oh yeah.
And hopefully the guys from Chase Outdoors are going to come down here.
Boy, that'd be nice to have them down here as neighbors, wouldn't it?
Yeah, would. Sure would. Because they do their indoor range stuff and everything. I don't know if they'd find room for that down here, but talking about gear, we got a new crossbow sponsor. We talked about them a little bit earlier, the Next Gen folks, and we're probably going to have to do a little bit more crossbow hunting.
I think so.
Now that we got that, and crossbow hunting is really becoming kind of it's kind of becoming a craze anyway. It's growing. It's a growing industry.
Yeah. Well, as soon as they made it a
Legal.
lot more legal, in Wisconsin,
A lot
it
of
took
states-
off
a lot
like
of states.
crazy. Yeah, I mean, all these states are starting to do it, and I'll tell you what, I think it's good for the economy. It's great for the hunting industry as a whole. It's one more option for people. You might not be in the best health and be able to draw a bow back, but you can use a crossbow, and it's still primitive. Why not?
Yeah, that's right. You can get out there and you can do some bow hunting, and you can, it's a new type of hunting, and it allows women to get into a sport that, that was kind of marginal for them before. There's a lot of women out there that pulling back over 40 pounds is kind of tough.
Yeah. And not to pick on them, it just
is. It's just their physiology. And, did I just use a big word?
that is a big word. In fact, I'm getting the shakes from it.
Yeah.
Whoo!
I don't even know if I said it right.
Yeah.
That was, I got to stop doing that.
Yeah.
This is a redneck show. We don't say that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's their makeup of their body. So anyway, these gals, a crossbow definitely is going to help make it easier for them, and they can get into the archery world, and they can get into hunting, and older guys.
Yeah. Like you?
What do you mean me?
Well, you're getting up there, and you got that bad rotator cuff thing that keeps coming around on you, and
I still pull back more than you do on a bow. I pull back 70 pounds.
dude, I pull back 70 pounds.
No, you don't. You're pulling 60 on your bow.
That's because
you're a wimp.
No, that's because you're actually pulling 60 on yours too, there,
No, I'm
buddy.
not. No, I'm
Yeah,
not.
we're
I was
pulling the
65.
same.
Yeah, we were, but I'm going back to a 70 because.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of that, we're getting new bows.
Yes, yeah.
We're getting a new bow sponsor. Mm-hmm. We parted ways with our old sponsor.
Yep.
Yeah. Decided that our goals and our missions were different. They, for some reason, think that we're too opinionated.
Well,
We're too much of a lightning bolt. Some of the things we say are a little bit too right wing. Too right wing.
I guess so, yeah. Well, then so be it.
we take too much of a stand on some political topics.
Yeah.
And that doesn't sit well with them, you know.
That's all right. Opens up a new avenue for us.
Yeah.
So.
We, we have strong military ties, you and I was in the military, and of course that makes me have very strong feelings about certain things, and I'm not afraid to say it.
No.
And I share it on my Facebook page,
share it on the Facebook page, share it on the radio, share it on everything.
That's what makes Big E who he is, you know.
Yeah.
And the way I look at it is, you either like it or you don't.
That's right.
If you don't like me, that's okay. Because there's thousands of people out there that do.
Yeah.
If you don't like me, I don't like you either.
Yeah. Well, there's quite a few people out there that do and don't.
Well, there's a lot of people out there that don't like me, that they say, "Oh, you talk about stuff and you're too opinionated." And
I mean,
hey, guess what?
Quite a few days I like you.
Kiss my hind end. You know what?
And there's some
and
days
I'm not afraid to tell you that either. So and if I'll tell you my political views, and I'll tell you the way I am. I'm conservative as they come. I'm definitely liking the scenery out here and watching this. This is beautiful, watching this construction go on.
Actually, it's a nice day out.
It's a beautiful day.
It is a nice day.
Yeah, it is.
But you know what? This is completely off the subject.
Yeah.
Completely off the subject. But you know how I am. I'm a little bit ADD.
Yeah, I am too. I kind of got off the subject there a second ago here.
But you saw the Back to the Future movies, right?
Yeah.
All right. You realize what is going on in baseball right now?
No.
Okay. In Back to the Future, they projected the Cubs win the World Series in 2015.
Yeah.
The Cubs are in the playoffs. The Cubs made it through the wild card game.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, could you see that?
Huh.
It's interesting, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. I don't know. I had to throw that out there. I don't know what made me think of it just now in the middle of all the stuff that we were talking about. But, yeah.
Well.
So I know sometimes we talk about stuff that ain't completely outdoor sports and all that. Sometimes we got to touch. You don't
think our bow sponsor is that they're completely against Bigfoot? Maybe that's it.
Oh, it could be. Yeah,
they're anti-Bigfoot.
We were talking a lot about Bigfoot.
That's what it is.
Oh man, yeah.
They're anti-Bigfoot people. That's what it is. Well, anyway, So anyway, it was a pleasurable party. I mean, they just said, "Hey, look, our goals and your goals are different, and you cause a lot of emails." Yeah, I'm like, really? You know what I do with those emails? But evidently, they read them, and it bothers them. You send me a bad email, I don't care. I just file it. I block you. But evidently, they say, well, you're kind of a lightning bolt. I've never been called a lightning bolt before. I thought that was a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome.
Then they said,
you're one big spark of energy.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. I'm like, ooh, a lightning bolt.
Yeah, you're electric, man.
Yeah. Then they said, well, we narrowed it down to 12. You made that cut. And then we narrowed it down to 6. You didn't make that cut. Ooh, I felt like I was in the pregame season for the NFL.
Yeah.
So I asked if I was invited to stick around on
the practice squad.
And I was told no. So.
Oh man.
Yeah. So we're in the looking again, but that's all right.
That's okay. Hey.
You know what? We got a crossbow.
That's right.
That's right.
That is right.
Next Gen is with us all the way. Slayer Broadheads. Sounds like we got the all guys from Outdoor Edge and Raptor Razor. Good guys. We're with them all the way, and you're going to see some awesome episodes coming up with us in Africa using that stuff. And we got some more surprises coming up on our TV shows that you're going to see. Mm-hmm. We are also talking about what channel we're going to run on. Brandon, sounds to me like we may go back to Pursuit.
Yeah.
Did you know that a lot of the cable companies are dropping Outdoor Channel and Sportsman?
Really? Why is that?
I don't know. They're dropping them. I hear it's because Verizon, something to do with Verizon owning them and liberal stuff. And they're saying, oh, well, less than 3% of our viewership is on them or whatever. They're saying it's viewership. but it's not. It's politically related, and they
what isn't these days?
yeah, whatever. and they're dropping the Sportsman and Outdoor channel, even though those are pay channels.
Yeah.
So they're cutting them, and it's all over Facebook. People are getting hot now. It's not all cable channels are doing it, but enough of them are that it's
Causing a stir.
It's a concern. It's definitely a concern, because once it happens, then you're going to see that others are going to follow that wave, that trend. So what does that do? That puts you back to, all right, if you're only going to be available on Dish and Direct, why would you want to be on something that somebody's got to pay extra for? You might as well be on one that they get free in their package.
Yeah.
You get it free in the basic $29.99 package if you're on Pursuit. Might as well be there. So it looks like that's where we're going to go for 2016 for right now.
All right.
With our show, because we might as well do it. So if you're going to have Dish and Direct to get us, and you know what, canned cable anyway, it's too expensive. You can get cheaper TV if you go with Dish and Direct. So cable's just getting to be ridiculous. So.
Yeah.
We'll see your Direct TV guy. Heck, you can find one of them guys at just about any store you go to. You go to Menards, and you go to Lowe's, you go to Sam's Club or Walmart. There's a Direct TV person standing there selling that stuff no matter where you go.
Yeah.
So we're getting close to ending the show. We want to thank everybody for listening. It's been a great show this week. And tune in next week. And remember, if you want to see us recording, just come on down to Cedar Creek. Check out the new Cedar Creek Mall.
Yep.
And we'll be recording in our new studio, which is right down at the Cedar Creek Mall live. And you can come right down to the window and check us out. So we look forward to seeing you guys, and be safe out there in the woods. And we'll be back next week. Thanks for listening.